Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the
Bremen Club
for life.
Alright, here's an upload. First off, let me address the lack of last week's upload. The reason for that is pretty simple. I'm really busy right now, and on top of that I just don't really have a lot of energy or motivation to make videos. You may already know the main reason for that if you follow me on the Twitter. I got a cat. She's the official Bremen Club mascot. She even sports the team colors. How cool is that? To compensate for the lack of a week for upload, here's a dramatic recreation of that battle for your enjoyment.
Go!
We lost 5-0. Now for this week's match. We are facing RTK, manager of the Portland Timburs. There's some big threats there, but being scared is for losers, so I wasn't really scared. So, what are we bringing? Well, first of all there's nidoking. It's meant to put up rocks and block any potential leads. That's basically it. Rocks are good, because Salamence exists. Next up we have Scarf Miluwakee. Basically this is here to put on pressure every time I bring it in. This outspeeds everything that isn't scarfed, and can't spam hyper voice quite freely, as RTK doesn't have any normal resists. There's also some other moves, but I probably won't use those. And thirdly, there's this weird offensive lure Trogdor set. His only reliable switch in for this is Timburrs. The plan is to tailwind, as he switches, do over half with ancient power, take a thunderbolt thanks to the Blackenberry and then kill him, as we probably get paralyzed. Fourthly, Fist F Tentacruel with a Shukaberry. This is my defensive check to Salamence. He can't one-shot this, except with Earthquake. So we've got Shukaberry Ice Beam, which allows us to take an EQ and kill him. That's cool in it. Also there's enough speed for Jolly Ember, because fuck that thing. Then there's sort of a standard-ish Zard. It sets up and does damage. Dual stab for everything, Steel Wing for the fairy thing. Not running max speed, because I don't want to risk a speed time with Salamence, so I'd rather lose to it consistently. And lastly, we have Terrakion. Scarf to reliably outspeed Scarf 4+1 Salamence. Dual stab deals with everything, Poison Jab one-shots the Guard Emperor. There's also Rock Tomb as filler. I don't think there's anything else to say or do, so let's go to the battle. Team preview shows us the threats. Also Hippowdon. As planned, I lead Nidoking, and RTK leads Hippowdon. Obviously he doesn't really want to stay in on this, so he goes to Ember, as I go for the Ice Beam. Does okay damage TBH. Now I'm free to just put up my rocks. Ember takes a lot of recoil damage and then some sand, and yet, for some reason I go for Rock Slide on a Hitmontop switch in. I can't safely go into Trogdor here. Rocks are spun away, but that's totally okay. Now is the time for the lure plan. RTK goes into Thunderous, I go for Tailwind. As planned, I go for the Super Quiver Dance. But for some reason RTK goes for Slush Wave instead of T-Bolt, and the poison happens, because 10% chances aren't actually a thing. Figured he'd switch out here, so I just roost up on a switch into Hippowdon. This is okay. We do a nice 77% and don't get the flinch. Fucking bullshit, if you ask me. Now, let me remind you that I'm playing the Zero Nido this season. I just put up another Tailwind. Fuck it. And it works. Hitmontop comes in, some stuff happens, and then Hitmontop is dead. RTK brings in the Guard Emperor and we flinch it. Trogdor is great. But even at +1, we don't outspeed this. But that told me he was timid, which was really good knowledge. So here I decide to just kill this thing with Miluwakee. Easy clean kill. And here RTK goes into Thunderous. Let me explain to you my thought process behind the following turn. I knew he'd probably go for Thunder Wave here, but I was quite scared of this being a dual dance variant. So overall I figured that switching out would just be a bad idea. Can't have this thing setting up on me. So Miluwakee gets paralyzed and takes out the thingy. RTK brings in the Ember, and since Miluwakee is still at good health I figured I'd preserve it for now, sacking Nidoking. Now I can basically just go into Terrakion and safely go for some Stone Edges. The Hippo comes back in and nearly goes down to one Stone Edge. Then the second one finishes it off. And in comes the Salamence. Now, as long as I don't miss a Stone Edge, this game is under wraps. But you know, Pokemon being Pokemon. I miss. RTK sets up to +2, which means he won't even need to Earthquake to deal with Tentacruel. At this point, I can't do anything. This Salamence is free to just clean up. Let's think about this game for a bit. Or all our games, for that matter. Terrakion just showed us that it's an unreliable shitty mon. Charizard hasn't done anything for us. It has become somewhat of a custom for me to be disappointed with any Mega I pick. So yeah, those two are dropped, active immediately. Bremen Club doesn't need you. We shall replace them with something better. You'll find out next week. See you all there.